Hey folks, welcome to the eighth episode or eighth meeting of the 30-minute chart club. What we're going to talk about today are the number of charts that we went over last week. We went over Zoom, Coin, Airbnb, and Google. Those are the ones that we upvoted to being our top picks for the next several trading days. And of the four, we traded uh, Airbnb. We're going to talk about that trade in a moment. We're going to talk about why we did it. We're going to talk about Adobe, that set up there, again, using a 30-minute chart, what we liked there, why we got involved. We're going to talk about Coinbase and how it's setting up more so on a weekly, daily time frame, even a monthly time frame. And it's one that we upvoted. I'm not loving the 30-minute chart so much yet, but we'll throw it up on TrendSpider, see whether or not I'm missing something. I only took a look at it on stockcharts.com, so we'll spend some time there. And I have a few charts that I like going into the new trading week. We had an awesome week last week. And for those that are watching this on the replay, why is this a private live stream? It's a private live stream because we want serious traders. We want to have a list of names just in case YouTube, which is kind of it's demonetized the channel at time with certain videos. I don't get the subscriber growth that I like on YouTube for whatever reason. We have some very, very loyal audience members, and for whatever reason, it's just not growing. It's just not working. And at some point in time, if I get fed up with YouTube or if they get fed up with me, we're going to want to be able to reach out, communicate with our people on the email list, and be able to say, okay, we're going to be on Twitter, wherever, locals, whatever that may be. And that way we can get in contact with you. Also want serious traders. I don't care if you're experienced, inexperienced. I'm glad you're here. We're going to have a focused conversation with regards to the charts that we're going over, not so much chart requests like we normally do on our live streams, which is great. We do that on Thursday night and Sunday night. I would encourage you to please join in every Thursday night, Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me share my screen. Let's get started. Yeah, try to keep this to a half hour as best as possible. We may go over, but that's okay. Pedro. Hey, Pedro. Good to hear from you again. And let me share my screen because I typically forget to share my screen. And Pedro, how's the audio? Is it okay? Okay. So the last time we met, we went over these four charts here. And by the way, for those that are watching us on the replay, link below, 30-minute chart club. We hate spam too. So last week we had upvoted Zoom, Coinbase, Airbnb, Google. Now, Airbnb, we did in fact trade. And the reason for that was multifaceted. One was not just the 30-minute chart, but it was more of a bet, if you will, because I was looking at the daily chart. And the daily chart, your stochastics, these are momentum indicators. And usually when they're trading down below 50, rallies tend to fade and the stock weakens up. There's a however to that. Sometimes when they begin to show you that they're about to flatten out and hook back up, that is an extremely bullish event if you get that. So what could be weakness if you have a keen eye and you've been doing this for a while and you're able to determine that, you know what, the trajectory of these stochastics, the momentum isn't really truly down. They're beginning to signal that they're going to flatten out. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Here, I'll illustrate for you. I have the stochastics up here, and you can see here's our higher low. And we got involved with Airbnb here. Actually, I'm sorry, here on the 28th, just when they were beginning to flatten out. Now, I used a bull call spread, and that is the purchase of a deep in the money call option, the simultaneous sale of a deep out of the money option. Why did I buy the options instead of selling them? They were cheap, dirt cheap. So we bought the options. And so one of the problems that I ran into, before we go any further, I called myself bag holder Bob until Friday when we closed out this position. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. And it's really important. If we're talking about 30-minute charts, there's certain rules and criteria. So stick around. We're going to go over that in a moment when you buy these positions. So please stick around, hear me out on it. What else did I like about the daily chart? The daily chart had a strong weekly chart setup. We were holding support. Stochastics was strong. Also, when we pulled back to the monthly chart, while we had a topping tail or topping action last month, it was holding the support level at around 118.64. So let's recap. We had strong monthly chart, strong weekly chart, daily chart beginning to turn around with a very bullish flattening out of stochastics and a potential higher low. Check all the boxes. Now it's just a matter of, okay, how do we enter this 30-minute chart? Let's go to it. And this is where bag holder Bob, I labeled myself that for 3 days, actually 2.5 days. So here we were. Where's the 28th? That's the 17th. Where was it? Let me bring up my other chart. I want to make sure. As a matter of fact, what I could do here, we post these trades in the members area. And here's, this is when we booked profits yesterday on Airbnb. Here's the opening. Okay, you can see here that Airbnb 30-minute breakout, bull call spread, and we like the monthly view as well. So this is the actual confirmation from my brokerage account. And I post this in there so that members are able to duplicate the trade if they're so interested. So all the facts are here. So this was executed on the, what day is this? 28th. Okay, it was. Okay, so let's go back to the chart. I want to make sure my facts are right here. 28th. All right, so here's what happened. 30-minute chart. We had a breakout, right? And what I was looking for here was a continuation move higher after consolidating. But what happened later in the afternoon, this is the final half hour of trade, which is where I normally like to open up my positions, or in the final hour of trade, because we don't know for sure. Because remember, Airbnb under pressure. So it was behaving well throughout the day, and I got cocky. And I said, okay, you know what? This is looking good here. I got this. I'm good. And sure enough, final half hour of trade, it got hammered. And it got hammered into the next day. I could have avoided this if I had obeyed the golden rule. And the golden rule is don't execute a trade, especially a long option trade where you have time decay working against you until the final half hour of trade. That way you avoid this washout. This is the institutions playing games with you. So that's why I name myself bag holder Bob. So for 2.5 days. Ultimately, while we corrected, I beat myself up quite a bit publicly. We got the rally that we had anticipated. We booked profits yesterday, raised capital. So, lesson number one, folks, if you get nothing away from this conversation, open up your trades in the final hour of trade. Please avoid, especially when you have a weak stock that you think is bottoming out, and it's got a really strong day, and you're like, man, I got to get in on this. Fear of missing out, FOMO. Wait till the final half hour of trade. You may even pay up sometimes a couple of dimes. It's worth it because over the course of the time, if you don't use that discipline, you're going to pay a lot of extra money. I could have waited the next day had I waited for this bearish reaction, said, okay, you know what? Let me do this again, 30-minute chart. Let me just take my crayon out and say, okay, let me wait for the breakout. That would have been here on the second, and then I could have taken after this breakout, waited for the retest. Now I'm getting higher lows and higher highs. So that is that's the takeaway from today. Wait for the final hour of trade to open up your long positions. You could sell anytime, but when it comes down to buying, especially a stock that's beaten up, wait for that final hour of trade. Okay, let's get to it. We booked profits last week on, we'll go to Adobe. Now, Adobe was one that we were talking about on a 30-minute chart where we had a TTM squeeze or a Bollinger Band squeeze. And that was right back around the 28th. Yeah, right back here. And you could see the Bollinger Bands in red were inside the Keltner channels in green. And that's a rare event. That's a very, very tight consolidation. We put on a long option trade and the shares just like pretty much automatically just took off. We nailed it perfectly. And that paid us a nice profit. So we made some good money there. Craig, yeah, we did trade Amazon on the week. We made money there. Let's go to when did I open up Amazon? I think I opened it up on Thursday. We booked profits on I opened it up on the 2nd. This is the closing. Oh, no, this is the opening position. Yeah, this is the opening position here. So we bought to open 15 contracts, the 75 calls. Simultaneously, note the exact same time, we sold to open the 110 calls, 15 contracts, and we got paid $1.59. So we reduced the payout of this 1957 by over $1.50. So just in case we were wrong, if we got a pullback, I could always go naked, book the profits on this side of the trade if I'm still bullish on Amazon, and could have just gone purely naked on the trade. Ultimately, we nailed it perfectly, and it just went straight up the next day. So this wasn't a 30-minute trade. That was the second we opened this up. Amazon, we were using more so a daily breakout. And we'll talk about that now. So as you could see here, Amazon was under a tremendous amount of pressure. And folks, we're using TrendSpider automated technical analysis, 35% discount using the link below. And I give it away free to our silver and gold level members to the Contrarian Trader. And first off, cheap plug, quick plug. All these trades are live trades. This is not hypothetical trading. These are my confirmations. I post these in the members area, or my system posts them in the members area. And Gay Herrera had a great morning scalping. And these are the actual trades, no BS. So on a daily chart, you could see that we were in a descending wedge formation. And then ultimately, we got a breakout on the 2nd where I posted that trade. We got long and we booked profits here on the 3rd. And we made, I think we made On Adobe, 11.5% in 2 days. Airbnb, we just scalped the profit. I just wanted to get out because I entered wrong. I was mad at myself, and I'm still bullish on Airbnb. I may re-enter. Uh, the Amazon trade, we booked about an 8% profit, give or take a percentage point, but in that ballpark within 24 hours. It was a really good trade. So in, out. I think there's more upside to be had here, but I'm very, very deliberate lately with wanting to go home with a lot of capital. I just posted the week ahead commentary in the members area where we're watching on the yield curve chart, which is signaling a lot of weakness on the yield curve. Therefore, not necessarily bullish, but it allows stocks to move up higher. And we're becoming very oversold on the yield curve. And when that bottoms out, which we're watching, we're going to be looking to short the market. So while I think there's more upside to be had, in fact, let's go take a look at the 30-minute charts, which we normally go over. We're going to talk about the trip queues. I went over this in greater detail, daily, weekly time frame with members on the week ahead commentary members. That is in the members area, and it's posted for you. I emailed it out as well. So going into the close on Friday, are we poised to look to put on new long trades on Monday morning? No. Why? Well, the 30-minute chart here is saying that while we are certainly, it's certainly possible that we could get a gap up on Monday. In all probability, we're going to be looking to short it for a scalp only, not a multi-day trade, just a quick scalp on the Qs. Why? We're taking a look at a couple of things here on the Qs. One, RSI 30-minute time frame is at 77.50, pretty overbought. Now, the stochastics are flatlined. There's really not much more that can be done here except to roll over. They could stay flatlined and move up, have the share price of the Qs move up higher, but I don't want to be the bag holder, right? I don't want to do that. So I'd rather take note of the fact that we're pretty extended and we go by probabilities. Technical analysis is about probabilities, not guarantees. And the probability of the Qs gapping up higher are pretty good on Monday morning. The probability of them fading is very good as well. So I don't want to go chasing a gap. I don't want to go shorting a drop down. So we're just going to sit, watch, and wait. We're going to watch for an orderly pullback on the Qs, therefore an orderly pullback on the stocks that we like. Once we see the Qs begin to lift up, the S&P begin to lift up, VIX linger, flatline, bias to the downside, then we'll look to reopen trades. But right now, I'm nervous about the Qs. Therefore, I'm happy to be going into the new trading week with a ton of cash. That way I sleep well over the weekend and I can strategize with a lot of capital. So that's what we're doing here is we're strategizing and we're getting ready for the new trading week. Now, before we go into the other charts, because remember, we're going over the Qs because for all intents and purposes, that's the market for us, right? We trade highly liquid triple Q S&P 500 stocks. So we want to know what the Qs are doing. We also want to know what the VIX is doing. What is volatility telling us about the new trading week? Well, you know what? The VIX is kind of validating here that we're probably going to get a pullback in equities early next week. Why do I say that? Well, while the Qs are kind of overbought, the volatility index is kind of oversold. So you have RSI at 21.42. Can it go lower? Absolutely. Is it probable? Not likely. Why? Because we were lower already. Now we're probably putting in a higher low. Why do I put so much confidence into that analysis? The reason is that I'm validating the analysis by taking a look at my other momentum indicator, which are my stochastics, and they are already flashing a higher low. Now all we need is a higher high. And this may be a better way to illustrate it. And frankly, we are already breaking out of this downtrend channel. and we're beginning to limp up higher. So what happens if VIX momentum goes like this to the upside? Well, equities, S&P 500, in all probability, 99% guarantee is going to go the opposite direction. 90% guarantee is going to go the opposite direction. Those are pretty good odds. So we want to keep an eye on the VIX. It's oversold. We want to keep an eye on the trip Qs. It's overbought intraday, not on a daily time frame, intraday. And so we should expect some backing and filling, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that that short-term rally in the equity market that I forecasted several days ago is not over. I think that we still have more upside to go. That's why we're going to be talking about mostly bullish trades on most of these symbols we're going to go over. So let's get to it. Airbnb, we book profits here. Do I still like it? Yes, I do. The reason is, again, the higher level view. You always want to know what your symbols are doing on a weekly view, daily view, ideally a monthly view. What's the macro trend before you go to your 30-minute chart? And we already went over this. It's worth going over again, right? Weekly view, different chart setup, same observation. We pulled back. We retested the support level. We have a bullish reversal bar. Our momentum indicators are hooking up. RSI, Stokes. It's game on. Check the box. You're good here. And you may be asking, well, if you're good, why did you book profits? Simple. A, we are in a very precarious market, one that could turn on a dime and go negative at any point in time. I'm worried about headline risk. And when I'm especially worried about headline risk when I'm trading long options, which have time decay. I don't have time to wait and to be wrong on those options. I need to be right pretty quickly. So if I've already seen a profit, then I want to take that profit, make it real, carry it over the weekend. If I like the setup going into the new trading week, we'll re-enter. So let's talk about a setup now on Airbnb. Is there one to be had here? 30-minute chart. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could take our crayon out. We broke out. Ascending wedge formation, 30-minute chart. Now, RSI is above 70. Well, technical analysis for dummies tells you that you need to short a stock when RSI goes above 70 or, God forbid, 80. Shouldn't you be looking to short the stock? No. The worst piece of advice anybody could ever give you, because you'll go broke, is to short a stock when your stochastics or RSI goes above 70. Look about what would have happened if you had shorted Airbnb when stochastics went above 80 back here on the second. You shorted here on the breakout. Think about it. And you would have had your face ripped off if you didn't get stopped out. So don't use that rule of thumb. Are the Stokes a bit overbought? Sure. What I'd be watching for here is a lower high, and we may get a pullback on Airbnb. So we're going to be watching for that. Here's our bull flag setup. RSI, more room to go to the upside. Airbnb looks good, not just for the new trading day or week, but for the next several weeks. That means months as well. So Airbnb, we're going to keep on our watch list here because I like it. And we're going to do a little bit more analysis on Airbnb in a moment. Let's keep this going. How long are we going here? We've already gone 25 minutes. I got to pick this up. Adobe, it's extended. We're at resistance. We don't want to touch this. We already made profits here. We're not going to go back to the well. Amazon, more room to the upside here. You may get a pullback. We're a little bit extended on these stochastics. I like Amazon. Why? More so from the daily setup, right? We broke out. We'll go to TrendSpider. It's more easy for me to annotate quickly because I want to respect your time. I'm trying to keep this to a half hour. Amazon and Airbnb. Apple, there's a lot of A's here today. I already went through several of these. Apple, 30-minute chart. We're extended here. Okay, but we're going to talk about Apple in a moment and why I like the setup on Apple. And on any pullback here, I am going to probably buy Apple. And the reason why I don't want to buy right now is for several reasons that need to get resolved. One, we had a massive move up higher here, right? And we're in a ascending wedge formation. We need a pullback. We need a pullback, right? Also, our stochastics are beginning to flatline and roll over. We're going to get a correction here. RSI 76.83. No time right now to go putting on a new trade. We're going to talk about the weekly chart in a moment and why we like Apple and what I'm expecting to happen here. So stick around. We'll do our recap. I may not get to all 30 charts today because we only have a few minutes left. But these are the names that I like so far. Broadcom, we spoke about the 30-minute chart. I wouldn't touch this. It's probably going to pull back next week. Boeing, very extended, probably going to pull back. Momentum indicators rolling over. BlackRock, looking good here, probably going up higher. I like the setup here. BLK, interesting in that we have a... You're welcome, Craig. Here's your breakout. Now, we gapped up. There was never a retest of this support level. Ideally, I like to see that. So if we pull back and we do a retest of, let's call it 685 per share, and you may be saying, how am I going to afford a $685 stock? We use the options. I don't buy the common stock. If it's a $35 stock, I'm going to buy the $35 stock. But for the interest of having more of a return on capital, we use the options. Now, 696.50 is resistance. I like the breakout here. I'm not ready to buy this yet. So BlackRock is interesting, but it's certainly not one I want to act upon going into next week. I mean, excuse me, Monday. Coinbase, love this one. It's already on our watch list. It moved up. We spoke about this one last week. I drew these downtrend lines, and sure enough, we broke out above it. And nice little rally. We had a pullback and then recovered. So Coinbase, I'm liking. CrowdStrike, no. Extended. Chipotle, no. Beaten up. I don't like the setup. Coinbase, we already went over. Disney had its rally. Extended. DocuSign, very, very extended. Look at the RSI, 80. Stokes flatline. Don't go entering this one on Monday morning. Even if it gaps up and you remember, oh, Bob said that was going to go down. It may not go down on Monday morning. They could gap it up and watch it fade. DPZ beating up on earnings. We don't want to touch that yet. Not enough healing done yet. Google, I was watching. It got away from me. We were talking about this last week, downtrend channel. I put up all these lines here. We got the breakout. Off to the races it went. See the power of the 30-minute chart? And remember, before we go to the 30-minute chart to execute the trade or look to see whether or not we have a setup, we want to make sure our daily charts are setting up nicely and weekly charts are setting up nicely. That's why we use TrendSpider for multi-time frame analysis. Meta, 30-minute chart, extended. I spoke about this one. I was not hot on it. It did get away from us. Microsoft, I spoke about this one briefly. It's not a great trading stock. mRNA, that's only a short for me. I wouldn't want to buy it. Nike, not loving the setup here. Netflix, we like Netflix going into the new trading week. I spoke about this with members on the week ahead commentary. Hey, Sam, how you doing, pal? I believe I said you're welcome to Craig. Hopefully I did. I'm blowing through these and I'm forgetting exactly. My mouse is wonky right now. Sam, hello. Netflix, here's one concern. What I like the daily setup and even like the 30-minute chart on Netflix. One concern I have here is that the Stokes are very weak and rolling over, and they never made it above 80. Now, I'm loving this setup. Here's your higher low. We bottomed out 310.38, higher low at around, I don't know, 310.40, something like that. And then we just went into a consolidation. Now, we shorted Netflix several times, twice, shouldn't say several, twice. We profited on it. Now we're looking to get long. We're not emotional about stocks. I'm long at one day, short at the next day. It doesn't matter to us. We have no emotion whatsoever. All they are trading vehicles. So I like the 30-minute chart here. We're going to talk more about the daily chart in a moment and why we like it from a macro view. NVIDIA, we're going to look to short NVIDIA at around 245 per share. Not yet, probably more fuel left in the tank here. We'll be looking to short it fairly soon. PayPal, we spoke about this one last week, expected a breakout. We got the breakout. Qualcomm, not much happening here. Shopify, looking very, very good daily chart, extended 30-minute chart. Avoid it right now. Target rallied off of the they rallied on earnings. Earnings came out okay. I like the daily chart set up here. If I have time, we'll go to it. Not a lot of beta there, meaning volatility. CRM, horses left the stable. They reported earnings, I guess. Twilio, rolling over. Don't touch it. Tesla, we're short of Tesla. We're going to remain short of Tesla. No trade here. Walmart, consolidating. Interesting setup here on Walmart. I haven't spoken about this one. Let's see whether or not we have a TTM squeeze setting up here on Walmart. Let's go over to TrendSpider. Again, folks, 30-minute, 7-day free trial offer below, 35% discount code on TrendSpider, automated technical analysis using artificial intelligence. So let's just check out one thing on Walmart. 30-minute chart. Oh, this is looking really sweet. We have a TTM squeeze setting up here. So as I mentioned with Adobe earlier, we have the same setup occurring on Walmart. Walmart's probably going to rip. So again, what is a TTM squeeze? It's just basically a compression zone, meaning there's been so much consolidation, backing, filling. No real daily lower lows, no new really daily higher highs. It's just consolidating, and it's like a coiled spring. And I think that's the best analogy to use. And what you're seeing here using the automated trend lines is that I didn't draw these lines, all right? This is the AI. Throw them on. So you have in green, support, resistance. In blue, you have more support representing the rising lower lows, and in red, higher highs. So what do we do here? First off, what's a TTM squeeze? In red, we have the Bollinger Bands, your standard out of the box, 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band. I'm sure you have it on your charting software. In green, we have the Keltner channels. Again, standard out of the box. I do not change the formula whatsoever. When you have your Bollinger Bands trading within your Keltner channels, it's really not supposed to happen unless, of course, there's just a lot of consolidation. And what's happening right now? We're getting resolution. We are beginning to, after bottoming off of this lower band of support, we have broken out above the upper band of resistance. Where do I think this stock is going next week? It's going up here to this rising uptrend line. Depending upon when it gets there, it's rising between 142 to 143, whenever it gets up there. So what I like to do when I'm trying to decide when I want to get involved with the trade, I will create my alert, touch bounce off of 30-minute support. Note to self, TTM squeeze, Stoke, which I'll go over in a moment. You'll be saying, why is he hadn't mentioned this yet. I'll go over in a moment. Stoke, higher, low, buy. Okay. So what's that stochastic comment all about? Well, momentum. It's all about momentum. So you could see here that momentum is rising. That's what you want if you're looking to buy a stock, right? So we're breaking out 30-minute chart. We're breaking out and putting in higher lows on stochastics. We have a TTM squeeze. Walmart's got to be. I didn't expect to put this on the list, to be honest with you, but it's going on the list for the new trading week. Walmart. For members, I'm going to post in the members area are entry points, exit points, stop loss points. Meaning when I say exit points are price targets. So members, check this out. By the end of business tomorrow, I will have them ready in the members area for the new trading week. So Walmart looking really good. That's on the list. Let's talk about Airbnb. You know, Airbnb, we're going over here. Airbnb, we already went over. I'm going to skip that. That's going to stay on our watch list. Let's do it real quick. I had diarrhea of the mouth way too much today. So my apologies. Here, daily chart really quick. We broke out daily time frame. Remember, we're a little bit extended intraday. So what are we expecting? A pullback. Where do we want it to pull back to? Well, right back down to the breakout point. We want to see a retest. And then we'll look to re-enter. What do we use to re-enter? Same bull call spread we did last week. Airbnb is already on there, I believe. Yes, it remains on. 2 weeks in a row. Apple. Okay, I spoke to you about this one earlier. I'm not loving, we'll use TrendSpider here. I don't know why this happens. Apple versus, there's so many different charts functionality here. All right, I'm loving the breakout here, right? These are all my drawings. And then you see the AI is picking up resistance above. So we got to be aware of that. If we enter the trade, resistance up at 154.75. So 30-minute chart. Exactly. Let's go to the weekly chart first. Then we'll go to the 30-minute chart. So here's why I love Apple. And I'm not a big Apple trader, but I love the setup here. So what we need to do is take our crayon out and say, okay, what's going on over at Apple? God damn it. Let's get rid of all these drawings. Start fresh. You can see that the weekly AI is picking up resistance again above. So let's just be aware of that. So Apple, what it's doing here is creating what you call a bull flag setup. And I think it's going to bust higher here on a weekly time frame. They tried to take it down the week before last. Last week, they gapped it up, negating that bearish week. 30-minute chart. Now, I didn't see anything on stockcharts.com that I found compelling, but you never know. Yeah, I would hold off here on Apple. I'm not seeing an actionable setup for Monday, Tuesday of next week. I would wait for a weekly breakout here. This is more of a longer term play. Our alert is set. Well, I'm not going to add it onto this list here because it's not actionable early next week. We need to wait for a consolidation on a 30-minute chart. It's already run a little bit. Coinbase. Now, Coinbase, I believe, is actionable. And the reason is it hasn't run yet. So the weekly chart in a tight consolidation, getting ready for a breakout, daily chart, consolidating nicely. It has not run yet. So you can see that the AI in red has picked off the breakout, then a subsequent retest of rising support. Bullish stuff. Now what we're looking for is before it breaks out, I'd be okay with nibbling on this trade because the weekly chart's looking really good. But I wouldn't get aggressive until we broke out. And that's where we want to set our alert. No sensitivity as highlighted in purple there, because all we care about is a close above that resistance mark. Now, this is one where you have options that are expensive enough where you can get paid premium. So it hasn't broken out yet. What's another option, if pardon the pun, that we could use? I could either A, buy the options, which gives me far more profitability if I'm right on the direction, or I could sell the premium, meaning I take in X amount of credit for minimal risk because it looks very bullish. I could put on a bullish bet out of the money and just generate some cash flow. It all depends upon my mood, to be honest with you, and really the health of the market. Is the market bullish? Am I a little bit concerned about the strength of the market? Because I know that if the market weakens up, Coinbase will weaken up as well. So it all depends upon that as well. So I guess my mood is directed by the health of the overall market. What's the VIX telling me? What's the market telling me? And we take it from there. So VIX, Coinbase breakout. We're going to go to a 30-minute chart now to see what that's looking like. Loving the Stokes rising. I think this is moving up higher. Yeah. So I already have an alert on a daily time frame here. This is the alert I set up on the daily chart, and it's appearing now on my 30-minute chart. It's telling me you got it right. That's where your resistance is. You don't want to buy it until you break out. It didn't have the best close or intraday price action, I should say, on Friday. It did have a decent close, but it got stalled out at resistance. This is one where you want to wait for the breakout. So Coinbase is already on. We're going to keep it on there. Netflix. I think Netflix is probably one that is near and dear to my heart. Again, we shorted this one, and the daily chart is looking really good. It broke down on Thursday, recaptured support on Friday. Great price action. Great price action. Stochastics are very oversold, putting in a W formation, also known as a double bottom setup. And on the 30-minute chart, what you're seeing is your AI. Again, I didn't draw these lines. That's the AI. Take them off, put them back on. We have higher lows, and we're getting ready for a breakout here. So what I want to do, I don't need to put any of my own drawings on here. I'm going to create an alert. I want to know when Netflix breaks out. Now, another way to play this is if we don't get the pullback, if we don't get the breakout, what would we possibly wait for? What about a pullback? Where might we want to place a alert? right at the lower band of the Keltner channel. With TrendSpider, you could set alerts on the indicators and moving averages as well as support and resistance levels. Not many people know that. So I'm interested in buying on a pullback. No sensitivity. We're way too close to it anyway. To the lower Keltner channel. So we'd scratch the itch. We'd buy some on the pullback, but I'd be more aggressive with my purchase if, in fact, we break out above resistance at around 316. Folks, thanks for joining in. Members, we're going to post all of these on the website in the members area. Entry points, price targets, stop loss points. So that'll be up on the website by tomorrow evening, getting ready for the new trading day. If you're not currently a member, you're not ready yet, I understand completely. At least get TrendSpider, 35% discount code below. Start using AI. Your competition, I'll give you an inside scoop. I sell a lot of subscriptions for these people, and I get notified when people request refunds or when they cancel. I don't get refunds requests every once in a while. Everyone's blue moon. I get one. And rarely do people cancel. So I'm telling you, people out there are buying and using this software. It'll give you a really, really great edge on your competition if you learn how to use it. TZ Burton. And we have Sean on. Hey, Bob, I just got here started from the beginning. I'll talk to you tomorrow night. Hopefully you're on tomorrow night, TZ. Enjoy it. If you have any questions, ask me tomorrow night. We'll go over it on Sunday Night Futures Live. Sean, my main man, Sean. My mouse, I'm trying to click on your comment here, Sean. My mouse is giving me trouble. Hey, brother, you're welcome. So if you're not you're watching us on the replay, link below, 30-minute chart club. Join these private live streams. And if you have any questions, ask me on either if you're a member, ask me in the Slack forum. That's always the best way to get in contact with me. This is mobile, and it's on your iPhone, Android, and it's on your desktop as well. This is how we communicate. And you can ask me on the live streams as well if you're not a member. With that, folks, have an awesome remainder of your weekend. Join us tomorrow night, Sunday Night Futures Live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and have a profitable trading week. Be well. Come on, Bob. You can do it. Hit the end stream. My mouse is so wonky. Take care, folks.